Here we go. The show is stopping in Macedonia. I think it's our first time here in over 5 years of podcasting. So today we welcome someone I met, no surprise, on LinkedIn. Anastasia, thank you so much for taking the time to join us.
Thanks, Vince, for having me. I'm really glad that I have an opportunity to talk with you today and also to share my journey, my story. So hopefully someone would get inspired from that.
Oh, people will definitely be walking away inspired. Everyone, welcome back to That Entrepreneur Show. Thank you for tuning in and making this show a top 2.5% global podcast. I can't do it without any of you listening on, any of the amazing guests like Anastasia. So thank you today. And this is That Entrepreneur Show, the #1 podcast for small business owners and entrepreneurs, where we get right to the point, talk about the lessons learned, what got them to success, and everything you need to level up on your journey. Big shout out to John Ford with his new Empathy card set and Empathy app. Head to theempathyset.com. And if you want to start your podcasting journey today, head to Coming Alive Podcast Production. But for today, we've got the founder of Books at Ease. We've got the founder of Next Generation. She's got her hands in so much, and it's to help entrepreneurs and online business owners really grab a sense of what they're doing. Both businesses have different missions. She can explain it better than I can. But before I let her give everyone the gold, Anastasia, what led you to entrepreneurship? Why did you want to work for yourself?
Yes, that's an awesome question. I was working for almost 15 years as in the corporate world as accountant, and I was basically started from entry level to leading positions. But then I realized that basically I can do it more in this world and share my knowledge, my expertise to and make a company that will contribute basically in this entrepreneurial world. So wanted to start on my own. My journey started 7 years ago with Next Generation and 3 years ago with Books at Ease. So it was quite a journey, but I'm grateful for everything I have learned so far.
What is one of your biggest lessons learned from your time in corporate that you now apply to yourself in entrepreneurship?
From that period, I learned that it's really important to focus on learning things and learning that in depth. Because now, when you are in this world, you don't have so much space of making mistakes. I mean, you can make them, but those mistakes are costing. You're paying them from your own pocket. So I was really focused on learning things and setting up processes in place because I was mentoring very high efficient operational teams and learned that you need to focus on the right people, on the mentoring process, set them right processes, because that is very important when you're starting your own business.
Yeah, 100% there. The processes, the standard operating procedures, I'm even still incorporating more and more with my team because it does help you. Everyone's on the same page and all of your new hires are easily onboarded with your culture. You mentioned that your first company started 7 years ago. So congratulations for sustaining that. And I've got your information sheet pulled up here. Everyone listening on, if you want your own information sheet template for your shows, please reach out to the team. And it helps you ask the guests what valuable insights they can bring to the show. And for me, it's definitely learning what got you started at that business in the beginning. And I know it's a bookkeeping firm dedicated to helping digital businesses take control of their finances, but it's bigger than that. Let's talk about it.
Yeah, so basically, Next Generation was initially started as an outsourcing company for accountants and CPAs from US. Okay. So we've been focused 7 years on building highly efficient operational teams who are trained, skillful, and who are successfully supporting US practices. That was basically the foundation for me to open the Next Generation Academy, which I'm successfully leading for 4 years. Yes. Where I can proudly say that I've trained and educated for more than 100 accounting professionals from Europe, especially from Macedonia, who are ready to support US businesses. So that is next generation story. Well, when it comes to book cities, book cities emerge gradually. So I realized that there is a potential for serving digital businesses with high quality services while you're doing that directly. So not as a subcontractor as we are doing in next generation. And
Okay.
both companies have two different, but basically those are two different business models, different structures, and we have a challenges for both of them, but we are successfully navigating. So yes.
I love that. I got here in the show notes the two different businesses, two different business structures, really having to learn and dive into entrepreneurship from many angles. I have a feeling that mentorship and support circle played a big help in you getting into a whole new field. Can we talk a little bit about the roles of mentors in this transition to a new sector?
Yes, absolutely. So mentoring, either for yourself as a business owner or you as a mentor to the team is really important because when you're starting a company and you're building a team, everybody from the team has its own skills,
Yeah.
own personality set, and it's a whole package.
Mhm.
So your role is basically to manage that team successfully and to highlight the best of each team member. So it was quite a process. And I was learning during this year. I'm learning now as well, because as I said, the structure is different. So it's one point when you're building a team for outsourcing, and completely different when you're building a team when you're directly serving clients. So mentoring, setting up processes, efficient processes in place, being there for the people to talk with them, to understand where they are failing or have an issue or they don't have maybe enough knowledge. It's really challenging, especially when the team is growing. But I'm really grateful for the team I have in both companies. And I can say that I did a really good job so far, but I'm also here to learn more and improve myself because learning never stops.
You make a great point. Even when you hit certain success checkpoints, if you will, you continue to learn or you fall behind. Things are always changing and trending. And one of the goals with this
Yes.
podcast is keeping people up to date with the guests that come on in their businesses, in their sectors. Absolutely incredible there. I'd like to now dive into something. I asked you about lessons from corporate, but now I want to know if there's any notable lesson learned from working with over 50 different accounting practices.
Yes, absolutely. So the lessons are invaluable. So first lesson I would say is the value of, as I said, of the standardized processes, because standardized processes in place can really improve the efficiency and increase the client satisfaction. On the
Absolutely.
other hand, having a consistent and high quality training programs for your people, it's really important because I've seen a lot of great accounting practices that were failing to scale or even failing to deliver a good quality service simply because they were not able to manage the team or to onboard a new team member, which is very important when you grow. So that's first. Second is adaptability and continuous improvement. As I said,
Sure.
the times are changing very fast, so you need to learn how to adapt quickly, either to the industry changes or to your client needs. And very important for us is taking the feedback very seriously because everybody can do better if you learn what others have to say. Third thing that I've really learned and incorporated is building a relationships. So building a relationship is a long-term process. It can be done in a day. So you need to build a trust. You need to build a credibility with your partners, with your clients. So building relationship is very important. And the most important thing is invest in talent, invest in people, because I had a situation in the past when everybody is learning, and I thought that okay, I will be hiring an HR person at the point when I was not ready to do that. So what happened? I have stepped back from communication with my people, with the team, having in mind that, okay, HR will handle the thing. But then what happened? Cultural crisis happened because people, especially when you're small, are learning from the owner, from the leader, the one who is building that company. So again, I'm not saying that the HR was bad. Simply, we were not ready to do that. So make sure you know in what phase of your business you are in order to do something, because sometimes you can spend a lot of money without getting results that you want to have.
I think many entrepreneurs out there, or at least me, have wasted money at some point doing something we wish we knew at the point when we did. So thank you for sharing that. And I want to keep diving into some of this expertise you have. What should
Mhm.
business owners look for when they are choosing a bookkeeping partner?
Mm-hmm. Yes, that's a great question. So there are a lot of bookkeeping companies on the market, but what you should need to look for first,
Yes.
you need to look for expertise and education. I know that since the US market is not regulated in terms of who can be a bookkeeper, there are a lot of people who are starting that and doing that as a business, but making a lot of mistakes.
Right.
So ensure that the bookkeeper you're working with has the right education, the right expertise. Also, ask your bookkeeper whether it has experience in your industry, because no matter how good you are, you cannot be good at everything. So, I mean, if you have someone who has experience in your niche, in your industry, that's a good bookkeeper. Ask your bookkeeper how often it talks to you, because I saw a lot of businesses that we have onboarded recently that said, okay, I'm talking with my bookkeeper only once in a year. That's not good, because you're not learning from what client needs. You're not learning about the changes that are happening in the business.
Sure.
And yeah, I mean, those are the things that you need to pay a lot of attention before you choose a bookkeeper.
And you make a great point there. Something I neglected with past bookkeepers, where if you're only meeting once per year, you're not strategizing, you're not making plans, you're not trying to actually make some
Absolutely.
big improvements. You're just saying, hey, here, let's get my taxes done. In my recent hire, it was a lot more than that. All of those areas that you highlighted, experience in my field, experience in my state. Here in Florida, there are different tax laws than, for example, up in New York, where I'm from, including the state tax. We avoid a big tax here. So it's very, very important to have someone, not that you just trust, but that has experience in those areas. Let's keep moving because you're giving a lot of great advice here in these fields. What are some potential red flags business owners should watch for? Now we know what we should look for. How about on the other side of things? What are some red flags?
Yes. So red flags, first red flag is inconsistent cash flow or irregular cash flow, because normally businesses are focusing on revenue, how much revenue I'm making, not how much profit I'm making, because uh, higher revenue, higher sale doesn't necessarily mean a good profit and good profit margin. So that's the first red flag. Second red flag is you don't have accurate bookkeeping. So you are relying on wrong information. You need to have a proper recording to be able to provide a solid base for financial reporting later. Uh, Third red flag is you are overlooking the budgeting and the forecasting process in your business,
Mm-hmm.
because especially with expenses and with so many apps and things that we are continuously adding each and every day,
Yeah.
your expenses can go spiral and you can lose a track every single moment if you're not looking at your expenses regularly and you're not comparing them with the budget that you have. Other red flags are high account receivable. I've seen businesses that have problems with the cash flow simply because they're holding money in the account receivable, and how they're holding. Basically, they're not negotiating the right terms. They're setting, let's say, 60 days terms with their clients, and they're paying their own liabilities in 30 days. And you're stuck. You don't have enough cash. And the last and very important things, not following your KPIs and your numbers. You cannot lead your business without knowing what you're doing. It's something like you're driving blindly. You don't know where you go. You don't know what is the direction. And KPIs are the signs on the road. They're showing you where you are, where you will get if you follow or not follow this. So yeah, those are the red flags.
And I love that you just brought up KPIs, everyone, key performance indicators, something when I was in the incubator program, they really ingrained in me, Vince, you know how to start paying attention to certain areas. But remember, you can Google common KPIs that they may apply to you, but we want to be as specific as possible with these KPIs, something I learned. And for me, it's interesting to see how my KPIs have evolved as my team has grown, where when I was doing just book writing, how many book coaching calls per ghostwriting contract, how many reach outs. Now on the sales side, it's I'm marking, cold messages per state. Which type of message did I say? Which message has the most likelihood of succeeding to get through the gatekeeper? So I love what you said there. Everyone, this has been an absolutely rock star performance. But Anastasia, if you've listened to my show before, you know what's coming next. At the end of the show, I try to be consistent. Where, as you know, we have phases. We had the before entrepreneurship, what's going on right now, and then we're going to talk about what's next. But we'll do a little switcheroo today. Before we get to what's next, which entrepreneur throughout history, dead or alive, would you choose to have a conversation with if you could?
Well, I will say I would love to talk with Elon Musk. I really like what he did, especially with this technology and skyrocketing thing that he is doing. So yeah, that's the most popular and famous at the moment, considering all the things that are happening in the
Oh
US.
my
But yes, I
goodness,
would
yes.
love, yeah, I would love to see what he did and actually how he has managed to build such an empire in a not very long period of time.
Well, I'm going to have to delve a little deeper because it is a very popular choice. Where would you sit down with Mr. Musk if you had that opportunity to choose?
Where in terms of location or maybe
Ball's in your court here, Anastasia. Where do you want to sit down?
well, I would love to invite him here in Europe because he is mostly focused on US market at these days. So I want to invite him here. Let's say in Macedonia or maybe in Italy to see that there is another part of the world who is very good and successful nowadays. So yeah, yeah.
I absolutely love it. And no matter all politics aside, I should say what he does as an entrepreneur is certainly very inspiring. From PayPal now launching ships, he's in the White House. I mean, as an entrepreneur, building your brand is a constant work in progress, constant challenge, and he does a great job at that. And Anastasia, before we get your contact info, what's next? We know you got these two businesses rocking and rolling. What's next for you?
So next for us is basically to grow Book Cities because now even we are very successful and we have a client base. We want to grow this business. We are 3 years on the market, which is more or less in a startup phase of the business. So yeah, we have a lot of room to improve ourselves, to increase our portfolio of clients, and basically to learn how to be bigger because now at the moment. My goal is basically how to scale, but smart, not scaling with a lot of costs and
Sure.
doing mistakes that I did in the past.
Well, I think you're on the right track and you're using your lessons learned from your past industry, doing podcast appearances like this to get your message out there. So I got to thank you so much, Anastasia, from joining us all the way over from Macedonia, the show's first entrepreneur. I think, and I'm not intentionally disrespecting everyone, I'm very grateful to have around 20 countries, 25 on this show, but I think this is number one here. Where can we find you online, of course, and please also share your LinkedIn as that's where we connected.
Yes, I my LinkedIn profile is Anastasia Ristovska. So everybody who wants to connect with me can send me a contact request, and I will I'm glad to accept it and to connect it. Also, our website is www.booksetease.com. So everybody who is interested in learning what we're doing, how we're helping digital businesses can look for the information there.
I love that. And be sure, everyone, to connect with her on LinkedIn. Check out her website. She has a lot to offer. She's a very inspiring entrepreneur with over a decade of experience in multiple sectors. So add her to your network on LinkedIn. My name is Vincent A. Lancy. Please feel free to add me on LinkedIn as well. I'm on all social media at my name, and vincentalancy.com is my website. Learn more about what I have going on outside of podcasting there. But this show is brought to you by johnford.com with his Empathy Card Set, Empathy Set app. As entrepreneurs, we are often overloaded, so taking time for our mental health is extremely important. Show love to him there. And if you want to learn how to podcast today, head to comingalivepodcastproduction.com. And with that, we're signing off from Florida all the way around the world to Macedonia with an incredible female entrepreneur, Anastasia. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much for having me today. It was a pleasure talking to you, pleasure sharing my journey. And I wish you a great of success moving forward, because what you're doing is awesome and great. And your vision to promote entrepreneurs all over the world is very inspiring. So good job. Keep up with the good work. And yeah, hope to see you or talk to you again.
Thank you, Anastasia. And everyone, we'll see you next week right here on That Entrepreneur Show.